The Rewine Show, sponsored by 2 Live Music, 1286 Vernon Boulevard, Akron, Ohio.
Hey, Angie, what's up?
Hey, Ace, what's going on?
Hey, you know what it is. We got Denny Wilson in the building.
The man, Denny Wilson.
Hey, what should these people be doing?
They should be getting their wine glasses ready and get ready for the Rewine Show.
You know what I'm saying?
The artist.
We got. I love this beat, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kiss by the artist, formerly known as, but will for always be known as Prince.
Yes.
Prince. We want to welcome everybody out to another episode of The Rewine Show. So listen, with that being said, we will rewind the record, right? One more time.
Right.
So listen, this is Prince.
Yes.
And the Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this came out in 1986, I believe.
Okay.
I was going to hire at the time. Where were you at? All right, so if I was going to hire, she was probably still in diapers.
No, I was potty trained by then, so I was in the panties.
Okay. Denny Wilson, man, how are you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are you, Ace?
We're doing good. Listen, if you're joining us on iTunes,
Welcome.
if you're joining us on Spotify,
Welcome.
if you're joining us on Google Apps and Podbean,
Welcome out.
but if you're joining us on that BUpodcasting.com,
Welcome.
yes, man, we want to be able to let you know that we are here every Wednesday getting you over the hump week, man. And this is Prince, man. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's see if y'all are familiar with these lyrics, right?
Okay.
Hold on.
You don't have to.
Let's go.
Are you gonna sing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I thought you was gonna bust the lyrics
In the
out.
record, he out of nowhere, you see how high he's singing?
Oh yeah.
He said, yeah. Did you notice that? He had a
Yes.
deep voice in there. Denny, you ever get that?
I heard it.
Yeah. So we're talking about that Kiss. And we just want to welcome everybody out. It's a great week, and it's summer is coming. We're in June. We are in June, right?
Yes, we are in June for sure.
Uh-oh.
Mid-June.
I like it. Let's go.
Okay.
Hold on. Here we go.
Kiss. Okay. Kiss.
Give it up.
Said, what an intro. Prince will do it every time.
Yes.
Welcome to the Rewind Show. We are in June 2021.
June 2021. Welcome out.
Summer is almost here, you guys. I am Angie the Empress Higgins, Program Coordinator for BU Podcasting Company. We are the official voice for BURadio.com, where we mix podcasts with a blend of old school hip-hop and R&B music and educate you, our listeners, on everything wine.
Sound like you've been drinking a little before the show.
Just a little bit.
All right, listen. We're coming to you from the Staff Advancement Center BU Podcasting Studio, located in Summit Art Building, the Summit Art Space, 140 East Market Street in Akron, Ohio. Welcome to the Summit. We are a community-based arts organization dedicated to making art accessible to you and yours. If you want to get your art on, check us out.
Summit Art Space.
Summit Art Space.
The Rewind Show is where we know our podcast starts about 5 minutes into our show. We do not mix excuse me, we do not play music and let it roll.
No, we
but
don't.
we actually speak over that joint.
All over that joint.
Unwind. Most of our listeners like to hang out with us and chill, but if that is not you, go right ahead and fast forward, where we actually start our podcast at the Rubber City Winery, where we rewind to unwind.
Check us out, right? We also got a special announcement. Check out BUpodcasting.com for podcasting from a black perspective. We have sports, we have relationship topics, politics, motivation, inspiration. We have Denny Wilson in the building.
Hey.
Denny Wilson is in the building. We're going to get in his business. If you want to know what's going on in Blackburn, Ohio, then check out BUpodcasting.com.
Yes.
So you know where we are now.
It is time
For the Rubber
City Winery.
Rubber City Winery. All right, so listen, the Rubber City Winery, we know that this is the part that most of you come to hear, right? Come to see.
Yes.
In the Rubber City Winery, we discuss all things wine. We have local community leaders. We have artists come in here. We got people like from the podcast community.
Right.
Denny Wilson is in here.
Up in the building.
So we're going to go. Today we are drinking what? What we're drinking?
We are drinking Sweet Red Carlo Rossi.
Sweet Red.
See, I had a little Merlot earlier, so I had to make sure I was on the same page of what we were drinking.
Right.
This is not Merlot. We are with the
Sweet Red. And for those of you have to take a look. These are the steps. These are only steps we're giving you today. You look at the wine, right? Mm-hmm. And you
Check
look at
it
the
out.
wine and examine it, and then you do a smell.
We got a swirl and
You got the
smell.
swirl and
Sweat.
smell. Swirl and smell. This is how you swirl. Smell. And then inhale. Mm-hmm. And you take a quick taste. That's good. That's good right there.
That's good.
That's good right there. That's one.
That's that snapple.
That's one of them snapper wines. Listen, man. So we want to welcome you guys out to the Rubber City Winery, man. The Rubber City Winery, man. We do a wine chat. And today is a special day because we have my man who I've been knowing for my whole life up here in Akron for the most part.
Okay.
And Denny Wilson is one of the sharpest brothers when it comes to addiction, mm-hmm. when it comes to recovery, mm-hmm. when it comes to even mental health.
Yes.
This is the guy,
Absolutely.
right? He had the biggest outfit in Summit County that helps people where they are when it comes to addiction and recovery. This guy is your people. He's your people's choice to go up into D.C. and knock on some doors and pushing policies mm-hmm. and all of that. He's a Be Me leader.
Yes.
And a Be Me genius. Mm-hmm. This guy is he has his own business, man. He has an ambulance. An ambulance where he walk up on people and help them with resources and tools they need to be successful regarding their sobriety, things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado,
Denny Wilson.
Denny Wilson, how you doing, brother?
I am doing absolutely amazing, Ace. You know, I am in front of podcast royalty right now.
Oh, man, stop
and
it.
it is just an honor and a privilege to be a part of the Rewine show today.
Thank you, man. So for people who don't know, tell these people about what it is. I mean, I pretty much gave them an idea, but give them a real idea of what you do, man.
Well, since 1995, I've been involved in the addiction recovery field,
right?
Helping individuals, developing organizations, writing curriculum, legislation, helping to push those things out there that people who ended up someplace they never intended to be in life because of drugs and alcohol and circumstances, making a place for them to get some help. And as you mentioned, you know, for 25 years, ran Ohio's largest and oldest recovery community organization, helped more than 20,000 individuals and their families come through the door and set the stage as far as how addiction recovery services are provided. And now, in my 26 year of personal recovery, I drive an ambulance today.
Right.
And
It's a decked out ambulance, first of all.
I pass out Narcan, which is, the opioid reversal drug that brings people back once an overdose has occurred, and teach people how to do CPR, and just full of resources. And today is a special day when it comes to the recovery community. I don't know if you knew that, but Akron, Ohio is the birthplace of Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the oldest self-help and support groups in the country, which led to more than 1,300 to date of other self-help groups.
Wow.
And today is Founders Day here in Akron, Ohio. And
amazing.
Paying homage to, some of the folks that set the stage and paved the way for, a young man like me at age 25 that decided to stop drinking and drugging.
Congratulations, by the way.
Absolutely, man. And then, so before we brought Denny Wilson on here, we wanted to make sure that, we're talking about alcohol, and our show is based on alcohol, right? And we thought it would be fitting because people see us every week having a good time, but we do want it to be, we did want to be able to fall back a little bit and understand and let people know that we do understand that alcohol has its obstacles and barriers, especially when people are using it for escapism. And I'll be honest with you, man, when I was going through my first divorce, man, I didn't think alcohol really could do what it does. Denny Wilson,
yes.
I'm dead serious. I was like, so first of all, I wasn't a drinker, but I did not think that you could drink a substance and it could throw you out of whack. Like, I did not believe that. Kind of like can't believe weed can do what it does, right? So just refusing to when you breaking up, when you breaking up, you don't want to feel that pain direct.
Sure.
So I don't know if you guys remember Zima. There was a frosty beverage named Zima, like a Sprite. I used to eat them with Skittles. I'm just saying, just eat them with Skittles.
I see.
Right. But the idea, man, Denny Wilson, is I did not believe that because I would just drink one or two and I never would feel nothing. But I was thinking, to this day, I was so hurt, kid. And that's the first ingredient, trying to escape a pain, right?
Sure.
And you could talk more about that in a minute. But I'm drinking and I hit all six. By the time that sixth bottle went back, after the fifth and before the sixth, slow motion, man, I felt it. And I tell you, man, I probably spent the entire summer inebriated and no one knew, because I would go to work, grab a 6-pack of Zima, because to me that's all that worked. But the most important thing is, when it didn't work, I did not think about the breakup.
Right.
It was gone, but then you wake up the next morning and dang, it's right there in your face, man. So it's nothing shorter than God that didn't get me addicted and stuff like that, because I straight rocked out for about a summer. Tell me a little bit about how people get into addiction with alcohol specifically, since it's the show for wines.
Well, first off, let me go ahead and put it out there that yes, I am on the Rewine show, and there is nothing wrong with wine. Okay.
Right.
But there are individuals like myself, and like you said, Ace. Initially, we start off, it's recreational, and then when we experience some pain, we want to kind of get away from that pain. And as human beings, let me just digress just a little bit. We seek pleasure more than anything.
Absolutely.
We seek pleasure in everything that we do. It's at the core of our essence on why we get up, why we go to work, why we inspire, or aspire to better our lives in all ways, shapes, and forms. So when we experience any level of hurt, if that hurt is consistent on a basis, then yes, we're going to look for an out. Alcohol, wine, being easily acceptable and sociably acceptable,
right,
is probably the very first quote-unquote gateway that leads to a lot of other challenges that we might have in life as far as how we're going to deal with those. But when it comes to people who identify themselves as an alcoholic, we have to break it down, or an alcoholic,
Okay.
who have a problem with drinking. We have to break it down to the types of social capital that is in place with those people at the time. And by social capital, I mean, what are the circumstances that they're going? Yeah, they may have been down a road which led them to homelessness, mental illness, some trauma, some grief, unresolved issues, just things that are going on that are making them drink more and more. But an alcoholic is an alcoholic from birth.
What? Wait, what?
An alcoholic is an alcoholic from birth, which means physiologically, I am built different than you are, or the majority of the population. Now, right now in America, estimated about 23 million people with a substance use disorder at last count.
Okay.
Are all 23 million of them alcoholics or drug addicts? No, they just have a diagnosis. So when it comes to alcoholism and social capital, when I sought help, what I was experiencing at the time was the unresolved grief. I started drinking at an early age. I experienced a lot of trauma. There were some homelessness factors. There were some relationship issues, all of those things. But when you have an individual who has all of those things in place that are not suffering any consequences behind their drinking, doesn't necessarily mean that they're an alcoholic.
Right.
I like the taste of wine, okay? I like the taste of alcohol. I'll be the first. But I just can't put that in my body.
Absolutely.
I have a adverse effect in my mental, the way my mind, the way my body is set up.
Which is why the brother came up here with a 99-cent big gulp from Circle K.
Yes.
He knew where it was coming. And then, so not to cut you off, we brought a couple weeks ago we had this non-alcoholic called Free, right? Tell us a little bit about. Now, they've removed all the alcohol in there, but I always think that it's still an alley-oop for people who are dealing with it. But the idea is, if there's a designated driver in the crew, that's what they drink. If it's a pregnant lady, but then she still want to feel sociable, that's what you drink. If you're an athlete, but you still want to have a drink before the game, that's what you drink. But if you are literally somebody who's suffering, you still shouldn't mess with that. Dealing with it, right?
It's funny you say that, because you started to show off with that we've known each other for a while and we've been out together. Okay. I'm at a point in my personal recovery and knowing myself more than anything about alcohol. So yeah, I will order a sexy drink with no alcohol.
Right. And it's sexy, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it can be a setup, for someone. Those are designed for people, just like you said, the designated driver to feel like he's participating in some kind of way, in the ambiance,
Right.
And in the vibe of the room. But at the same time, for someone who suffers some consequences, knows that there is a challenge, it's to be avoided all the way around, I mean, and I remember when they came out with the near beers.
Near beers, yeah. Sharps.
I was, that was one of them.
That was mine right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tried that, but for a person like me and a lot of the people that I work with, that's a setup from the start.
Yeah.
Just the psychological aspect of it, of thinking that, I can mimic something that I know I can't do, will eventually lead me down the road of doing something that I know I should not do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Denny Wilson, man. We're talking about alcohol. We're talking about addiction recovery, and he's breaking down. I remember the near beers, man. I used to freeze the near beer up almost like so it could be a cold frosty beverage. And let me tell you, honestly, because it's not real alcohol-y,
right.
it tastes better, which ended up making me go get the Coors Light. You're absolutely right.
Man,
it makes you get it, because with the 2 Franks and a drink, let me tell you.
My addiction spiked, during the crack era,
Okay.
I'll be the first to admit, I love cocaine, I love crack.
You was on the crack rock. Is that
my
what
goodness,
it was?
yeah, I tried to make near crack. I'm not my right hand to God. I was in the lab with some money.
Slack crack. You trying to make that slack crack.
Yeah.
Slack crack.
But it just wasn't working out.
So let's talk about that real quick, man. And those of you who don't know, man, this dude got a book called F Heroin, but it ain't the F, it's the whole word.
Whole word.
Yeah, F-U-C-K. So back in 85, 84, crack was new, right? And people was lining up not knowing, okay, you had the heroin back in the day, the marijuana, and you graduate to that, and it was so accessible as far as in our communities. And then you think about now, and help me understand this, right? The new crackhead, the new one, with everything that's going on, books like yours, you out here helping people. Why is it that people, and I know there's other drugs, right, that's really the epidemic,
Sure.
But why a new crackhead? Why is somebody trying crack today in 2021?
The same thing holds true. Unresolved issues, challenges, social norms. The environment that I grew up in, crack got popular in the mid 80s, but we was speedballing and, all that stuff in the 70s.
Speedballing.
Yeah.
What's that?
Crack.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was the essence of what crack was going to be.
Absolutely, yeah. And, I want to, and not to, because part of my job out here is to educate, we really need to abandon words, descriptive words like crackhead. Okay. Simply because we've gotten to a point to where we recognize that individuals are sick. Okay, they suffer from a disease, and when we put labels on people, we're putting them in a category, and that's been part of my my mission for quite some time now, is helping people abandon and really describe someone that they may encounter that is symptomatic at the time. Symptomatic by meaning they're in active addiction or they're using. And and that goes all the way down the scale, as far as alcoholism, calling somebody an alcoholic, or just ignoring Uncle Ray Ray because he's crazy, or calling each other bipolar because we act a fool.
Right.
Those are diagnoses. Those are labels. Those are things that we shouldn't put on anybody. And I think that until we start as a people to understand that you're not going to encounter anybody that is not a child of God during your lifetime, and see them as that, then that might help you understand that this person is sick and they need some help.
So Angie, you can't say crackhead no more.
Well, you said it like 20 times, bro.
I counted 21. Like in one breath.
My apologies.
I wanted to say addict, but
Yeah, but you know what?
You learn.
And that's what today is about. Getting some of these these tools and this information, because they was crackhead up into that, and I didn't mean that nothing wrong with it.
That's what you knew it as.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't condone anybody for using that language. We just try to educate.
Right.
Which is awesome, because even looking at it like in the proper perspective of it being a disease, man, and even being an active user. I love all of the things that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your book, and then slide us on into your podcast real quick. Your books with an S.
Books.
Well, my best-selling book, the one that is sweeping across the nation right now, is called F Heroin: Keys to Winning on the Addiction Battlefield. Battle scars beneath the wardrobe of purpose. And that 80% of that book is my personal story on how it is relative to the steps that I took to achieve the long-term recovery and sobriety that I'm in now. And it also, it's a textbook, it's a workbook, and it's being utilized in a lot of the treatment facilities around the country. I pass a more free out than I do sell, but at the same time, that book is open up the gateway and let me understand that, number one, everyone has a book inside of them. Number two, you can get past the fear and help some folks.
Right.
And when you attach a mission to it, it really helps you understand that there is purpose in every negative thing that you went through.
Absolutely.
Okay? And being the author of 10 books as of today.
Who knew you had 10?
Yeah,
Where'd that come from, Denny?
We need to
you
get
hiding stuff
our
over here.
book game up.
Right.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, I took advantage of that downtime, that COVID situation. You know, with the ministry, with the recovery community organization going away, and COVID setting in. You know, I was scheduled for a book tour, 24 cities. I was quite impressed myself, but at the same time, that went away. So what else was I going to do with my time? I can only do so many podcasts. I can only do so many lives. I can only spend so much time on social media and with the family. So having the work ethic that I did based on my using activity from years ago, I decided to put pen to paper. Nice. And stay along the lines of my personal mission of putting out the positive message, changing the narrative, being that inspiration, that voice of hope, the voice for the voiceless, and being able to put something tangible in somebody else's hands. So that's where these books came from.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Listen, first of all, let me tell you about Denny Wilson, man. Two things I've seen, and he'll never speak about it, man. Denny Wilson said, Ace, I'm going to motivate you, man. If you lose X amount of pounds before we go to D.C., I'm going to buy you a suit. I didn't think he was serious, but I was on the grind anyway, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, man, we get ready to go to D.C. We got to go get a suit. I'm like, what? We got to go get a suit. We went to Cleveland.
Yes.
And he bought me 3 suits, 2 pair of shoes, and, I mean, we'll talk about the DW later, right? And I was so grateful, and he hooked the brother up. But then here's the thing: you think it can't get any better, right? Mm-hmm. This is the same time prom is happening, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a guy in there at the checkout with his son, and the son wanted this stuff now, but his dad didn't have the money yet. So it's kind of like the dad went to look at it to see it, and the look on the boy's face when he's like, "We can't get it today." But we had to check out, so he's trying to tell him, can you hold it? Mm-hmm. Then he pulls the dad over to the side and said, look, man, I want to bless you guys. You know what I'm saying? And he bought the dude's suit, man.
Nice.
He bought the dude's suit, man.
Nice.
That's the type of dude Denny Wilson is when it comes to reaching out, sowing seed in fertile soil, being able to be a change agent by simply being himself. Mm-hmm. And he does that through his works and podcasts, which brings me to your podcast. Tell our listeners a little bit about your podcast.
My podcast. Ooh, I am, super excited about being able to even reach a broader base and have an even deeper impact through actual words. And I want to thank the BU Podcasting Company, Ace and Angie, and everybody, the BU Podcasting family for accepting me and motivating me into doing that on a more consistent basis, because the feedback that I've gotten so far from the podcast has been amazing. So it just lets me know that, yes, I'm still on purpose, that I am owning my gift, and I'm still allowing people to see and understand who I am while not being able to be physically with them. But the BU podcast, or the Beyond Recovery podcast, is dedicated to the recovery community and their families, and anyone who is fighting to understand or fighting against addiction. And again, it's chock full of resources, personal stories. I have guests on there,
and he has his own podcast studio too. Give it up. Studio B.
Right.
Yes. For Beyond Recovery, Studio B, man.
Yes.
And for any of our people that's in our network, right, we just talked to Nia Allen, our in-house engineer. Mm-hmm. She's going to be doing evening sessions for people on Tuesdays from 4 to 8. And then she's doing Thursdays from 10 to 2.
Yep.
And you still got us open from 10 to 2 on Saturdays. However, if you're interested in a date and just can't get there, holla at Denny Wilson.
Yeah, we need a plan B.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, that would be a plan
C.
D.
D?
Because we got A, B, C, and D. Because she got 2 days.
Yeah.
And then we got 1 day.
I could be Plan D.
Plan D.
Dynamic Denny. The dope healer.
Dynamic dealer, the dope dealer. Well, thanks, man, for coming on our show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
So listen, this is my favorite part of the show, man. This is the part where Angie does her thing with her playlist, right? This is a weekly music collection created by the Empress herself. Hold on, let me get this back to her.
All right, you got
herself,
that.
right?
Got
And this is to help you get over the hump week. And if you're listening to this now and it's after Wednesday, guess what? You've made it. And with that being said,
We gonna roll with the Beastie Boys.
with the Beastie Boys.
So what you want?
Listen, they don't know about
Have
this
to
one.
take it back.
They don't know about this
Take it
one.
back. Take it back.
Hold on, right here.
I was all up in my hip hop, old school hip hop.
Yeah. Yo, man, I used to love this joint by the Beastie Boys. Listen to the beat. Yes. All right, what else you got? That's the Beastie
All
Boys.
right,
So what you,
we are moving to Boogie Boys.
oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Boogie
What you
Boys?
doing? Yep, Boogie Boys. Fly girl.
Oh,
Fly
hey,
girl.
go Boogie Night. Go Boogie Night. Go Boogie Night. Hold on. Oh, it's like 85. Yes. I don't want a girl to eat the puppy chow. That's what he said. Like, no, I don't need a dog. What would that be? Would that be a bee, though? Was he doing a subliminal in there?
Yes.
I don't want a girl who eats the puppy chow. He don't want a bee.
Oh.
All right, what you got?
Look, I showed this that. MCT and Meatronic.
Man, try it.
Fresh is the word.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, this is the king of the beat right here.
Right.
Hold on.
That part.
Hey, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, this goes out to Vince Skiles right here, Vinny G. That's the
Vinny,
909.
I'm coming for you.
Hey, so Mantronic is the original king of the beat. Hispanic brother making beats. What's this? Wait, when the beat drop? That's 808. All right, here we go. MCT and Mantronic.
Fresh is the word.
Yeah. That's before anybody was using the 808.
We was still in the basement.
We were still in the basement. What you got?
I had to stick with Meatronic.
Mantronics again.
Yep, baseline.
Oh, hold on.
You know it's gonna take a minute
Y'all
for
don't
it to come all the way
remember
through. It's gonna take a minute.
Hey, listen. Mantronics, enough respect to Mantronic, the king of the beat.
Mantronic.
Here, flip this back on. Listen to the beat, Denny Wilson. Listen to this beat. In 85 and stuff, he was doing this.
Look, tomorrow somebody gonna be on
Mantronics.
107.9 with this beat up under their
Mantronics. Yup.
Right.
Listen. Hey, what you got?
We going with King of Rock.
Angie. Angie is
MC.
killing it today. Fire. I won't stop rocking. Mary Rock house parties, and you're correct. All cuts are on time, and rhymes connect. Got the right to vote, and will elect. And other rappers can't stand us, but give us respect.
Hey.
Yo, 1 time for your mind, 2 times for the rider. Just throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. And if you're ready to rock with me and run, somebody say, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you don't stop, this is Hollis Rock. Somebody scream. It's not. See, I only know Ron's part because my brother used to do DMC's part. Hey, listen. So what you got again? What you got? What was the
All right,
rewind?
so the rewind we got. So what you want, Beastie Boys, Fly Girl Boogie Boys. Fresh is the World, MCT and Mantronics. Baseline Mantronics. And King of Rock by Run DMC.
Hey, you guys go to the Run DMC store, man. They got Run DMC hoodies, t-shirts, and hey, listen.
They got the Adidas.
You already know. Hold on.
He got.
You gonna make me take them.
This is the Adidas King over here.
I need you. Listen, the Adidas King. Yo, these came out after the D Roses. Let's go. Now we the baddest of the band. DMC, I rock and roll. DJ Run, I rock the rule. It's not a trick or treat and it's not an April Fool. It's all brand new, never ever old school. All right, so you know where we gotta go now, right?
We moving on to Ace's movie pick.
Ace's
what
movie
you got
pick.
for us?
So listen, Loki the movie from Disney just came out, the series. Did you see that yet?
Yes. Yeah, I watched it last night.
Yes, you watched the first episode. They putting them out on Wednesdays now.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Listen, first of all, it totally takes off to where the end game ends. And let's just say, I don't want to mess it up for nobody.
Okay.
This movie was absolutely dope. Loki is the god of mischief. And let's just say he done messed up the whole timeline, and the timeline police coming to get him.
It's nothing like what you would think it would be.
Nah.
But it's dope.
When the end hits you,
Yes.
the end of it, So what I've been doing is I've been literally listening to, like, there's this guy online who breaks down the series afterwards, so stuff you missed.
Okay.
It's great, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving it up to Loki on Disney Plus.
All right.
So we're drinking, what we're drinking?
We are drinking Sweet Red Carlo Ross.
So our Rewind pairing of the week is when we pair a drink with a record of the week or a group. Who we got?
We have
Oh, that's terrible. 112.
112. Only you.
Only you. Listen, download any 112 album. Grab yourself a bottle of
Sweet Red.
By who?
Carlo Rossi.
Yes. That's our show for the week, man. Denny Wilson, when do you post a new podcast?
You can catch the Beyond Recovery podcast every Monday, a fresh episode every Monday on all podcasting outlets. But go to the BU website.
BUpodcasting.com. That's where we want you to be.